It's a way of growing up. It's a way of almost living your life. It's a way of expressing your culture, and it's something that I really can connect with and that I really enjoy living out.
To try and teach everything to your children is very hard without the help of the whole community.
Have you ever sat down at the Pesach table and thought to yourself, how many hundreds, thousands of people around the country, around the world, are celebrating on that very night? It's important that we uphold the rituals, the traditions, and the observances of the Jewish people.
It's really nice to be able to be a part of the congregation where the rabbi doesn't say, this is how you'll do it, but the rabbi says, you should do it, however it's going to be meaningful for you.
70 years ago, there was no alternative to Orthodox Judaism in South Africa. So in Joburg, Rabbi Weiler, and here in Cape Town, Rabbi David Sherman were the pioneers of an alternative. Rabbi Sherman was brought from Boston, a graduate of Hebrew Union College in America, to be the first rabbi of progressive Judaism in Cape Town. He didn't have it easy. The Lithuanian Orthodox culture of South Africa was not one that lent itself to experimentation or to newness or novelty or questioning. There was a tradition of the rabbis would tell you, and you might not do what the rabbi told you, but that was the rabbi, and you listened. And Rabbi Sherman came with a different perspective.
He was a very, very well-respected man because he was not only a tolerant man, but he was a very, very, very intellectual man and a very knowledgeable man about everything. I mean, I wouldn't say he was my best friend. You know what I mean?
To me, progressive Judaism is the very word. It is progress. It's taking us forward. It's bringing us to a new understanding of a wonderful tradition, of an age-old tradition. But it is using it in a modern way, and it is bringing it to the people in a way that is acceptable.
Well, I think that people should really respect the shul and what it stands for, and our religion. Everybody should be not pious to such a great extent, but be kind to everybody, and not be bad, not say bad things at all.
I think if it wasn't for progressive Judaism, I wouldn't be an observant Jew. Progressive Judaism deals with the 21st century, and it makes it relevant to me as an individual living in the 21st century.
We belong to a liberal synagogue in Germany, and my father was not very happy about the Orthodox. And so as soon as the Reform started, my father joined. After all our past, it was very important to us to belong.
We started with about 100 families, which was very good in those days.
They built it from nothing. They built it up into a fully functioning community. He's a legacy. He's a legend.
It's a long time ago. September 1964, off to shul. Some wore such big hats you could hardly see over them. This is my daughter on her bat mitzvah. And here's Rabbi Sherman with a whole group of the girls. It was exciting.
In those days, the shul was full of children, and it was wonderful. For example, a day like Simchat Torah. We all got flags and little Torahs we'd made, and we walked around the shul and we got chocolates. There was a sort of a sense of community, that we belonged to something.
Congregants become part of your extended family. You worry about them and they worry about you.
Rabbi Sherman asked us, would we help forming the youth group? We had a chap by the name of Milton, I've forgotten what his other name was, to do the program. And when we got there, we made them go to bed very early, woke them up when it was dark, and took them down to the beach. And he started to say, In the beginning, there was all darkness. And he carried on. And when he said, and God said, let there be light, the sun came up. He'd worked it out like that. The children never forgot that.
This is the very first Torah cover I made. I made it to more or less match the one that got lost from the shul. And the design is 90% the same, but not 100%. You can't, it's impossible to make the same. That was made by machine, mine's made by hand. This one is the burning bush. There's beads on here to make it glitter a little bit. That's a talus bag that I made and presented to Rabbi Sherman. It may have been his birthday. I can't remember, I must be honest.
70 years ago, this place was pioneering. I mean, it was the cutting edge of Judaism. No one had seen what progressive Judaism was. And 70 years later, we're in a very different world. People have the internet and they travel and they have more available to them. So a community now has to create something that cares, something that's meaningful, something that speaks to the issues that people face. And you can't get that off the internet. And you can't get that out of being a nuclear family. You need, at some point, or I think, people need a place where they can share together.
Temple Israel welcomes you, and there's nobody who looks down their nose or makes you feel unwelcome. And that, I think, is the most wonderful thing about it.
You'll find that in an average service, you'll have somebody from a background that you wouldn't have imagined would have even met a Jew or be interested in Judaism, who's sitting in shul with the Siddur davening, next to somebody whose grandparents were founder members of the synagogue, next to somebody who came from Orthodoxy into progressive Judaism.
I think now, especially because Cape Town is such a special place, and Temple Israel now reflects the Rainbow Nation of South Africa. So we have members of all ethnic backgrounds and all walks of life.
Here we are reaching our 70th anniversary at a point where our numbers have grown and our involvement or activities have grown. We're very excited and positive about the future, and have got lots of plans to take it forward for the next 70 years, if not for ourselves, for our children and grandchildren.
I'm going to be a pillar for people to always rely on. It's what I want to do. My Judaism is very important to me, and so is Temple Israel. That comes along with that, and in the future, I really hope to maybe work my way up to something really important within the temple community.
What is the role and function of religion in the 21st century? And where in South Africa should the religious movements be putting their emphasis? I think those are the powerful questions that I see the shul moving into. So I've already seen an amazing new generation of youth leaders, of young parents, of teenagers who are coming up through Netze, who are exactly asking these kind of questions. And if the synagogue meets those and empowers those and supports those, that's going to be an incredible, powerful force for change in the future.